Well, friend, I took my Social Security. As my title suggested, I finally made the decision. I'm going to talk in this video about why the decision I made is for now. It wasn't the earliest option, it wasn't the latest option, but why it made sense for me to take the Social Security. It's a big debate on YouTube. It's overwhelming to look at all the reasons and advisements of when, how, what. None of that really makes sense. It's really a pretty simple decision, at least it was for me. And I'll discuss that in this video. So the money is supposed to be in my account in about a week and a half. Now, I applied at the end of last year because there is about a 3-month leeway that you can submit your application to taking it. And you want to do that if you are looking at doing this, or when you are looking to do this. You don't want to say, well, I want to take my Social Security this month. Doesn't work that way. It takes at least, I think, a month. And so back in November, I think it was last year, 2024, I submitted to take mine starting January 2025. And then there's a 30-day payout time period. In other words, my January payment gets paid in February. So about the third week, which is next week, I will be rolling in the dough. Not. As I mentioned, the decision for me was actually pretty simple. 62, as I went over on a previous video why it would have been a big mistake. It was a mistake if I had taken it at 62 in my case. And again, everyone's decision on regarding Social Security, there is no best decision. There's only the best decision for you and your situation. And in my case, 62 would have been a disaster. I couldn't afford it. When you take it at 62, or you elect to take it at 62, you now have an income cap. Now that may not come into play for many people. They don't have to work at that time. So in my opinion, then, if that was my case, I probably would have taken it at 62. But I had to work, and I had to make more than 20 at the time. When I first started looking, it was about 19,000 a year cap, which case, again, they start keeping or holding back 50% of all the money you make over 22,000 a year, and then pay you out later. Without getting into all that, 62 just wasn't in the cards for me. It was a no-brainer. There's no way I could do it. Number two, 70, in my opinion, was never in my plans, because there's this thing about, well, you know, you're going to get 120% of your what you qualify for if you wait till 70. And pretty much my understanding is, yeah, that's what they'd like for everyone to do. The fact of the matter is, you probably won't live. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we aren't going to live much longer than 70. I know 76 is the average. The newest this year, it's dropped now for males down to 73 in this country. Whole lot of debate on why that is, but you know, I certainly didn't want to work full time through 70 if I can avoid it. But 70 was not in the cards for me. Not going to take it as 70. And then there's the newest report this past year or two that says that the age that the majority of people, let's put it this way, the age is 66 years of age and 1 month. Most people, that's the average age most people will suffer their first serious health attack or health issue. 66 years and 1 month. That was about 5 months ago for me. Now, in my case, I suffered my first serious health issue that attacked me. It showed up at 60 years of age. So 6 years earlier. And that was that heart event, which I talked a little bit about in my first videos years ago. I will talk more about that in the future, but the writing was on the wall for me. Health is an issue for a lot of us, and we need to take that into account. Once again, that being a very individualized decision. And that comes into play whether how long you want to wait, or maybe what you want to do with your life. The other thing about health that no one ever talks about, or they talk about it, but they do it in passing, is it can change like that overnight. your health can go from excellent, or what appears to be excellent, to devastating. If not that, maybe it changes your life expectancy can change definitely overnight. And that's life expectancy. We don't have any idea. You can look at all of the reports, all of the numbers that say, well, if you live to be this age, you're likely to live to longer. So every year you live, with the advent of better medicine, et cetera, you're going to live longer. So you're going to need that money. Let me say something about this right now. It's very important with regard to the amount of Social Security you're getting. I think the elephant in the room is, if you are needing Social Security to retire on, if you're counting on that money or expecting that money to be enough for you to live on, that's scary. And that's, I think it was always meant to be a supplement to your retirement. You can't live on Social Security. I think the biggest amount of Social Security that people qualify for is around $3,000, at least at this time, and then the least is in the hundreds of dollars a month. Even if you qualified for the maximum amount, which, by the way, apparently is determined on your 3 highest earning years or something like that, will determine the amount of Social Security you would receive every month. Even if you got $3,000, who can live well on $3,000 a month? I mean, you can live, but you're going to usually have to downsize. You're going to have to change what you're used to living on at $3,000 a month. In my case, about half of that. So when you're looking at what it costs to live today, just in terms of housing, even if your house is paid for, you've got taxes to pay every year. So life is expensive, okay? And Social Security is really reality, just made to help supplement your existence. So the age that has made sense to me is the qualifying year, or the year that I qualify for, quote, full benefit, is, in my case, 66 years and 7 months, I think it was. For most of you now out there, it is now 67 years of age, which is the full retirement year. And that 66 years of age and 7 months, I think, was April of this year. And when I looked at the calculation estimates, it made about a $20 difference a month between if I took it in January 2025 or April or May. There was no reason to wait for an extra, literally $20-some a month. So that's why I decided I would take it the first of this year. Now, in that qualifying year, as it's called, you still have an income cap of I think it's up near $58,000 or so dollars. So I'm under that. So I can take my full benefit as of the qualifying benefit this year and continue to work. And then after that, the next year, there's no, as I understand it, income cap. Now, for all the people, but most of the people I know, we're going to have to continue to work even after receiving Social Security. That's a whole nother video or video series. And I really want to talk about that, because there's a lot of feelings I have about that as to why it is I'm having to continue to work and will have to continue to work. There's a negative side of that, but there's a real positive side of that too. And that's what's going to be in a coming video. I'm counting the days down. I think there's less than 10, and I'll be looking for that security. It's almost Social Security, you almost like, is it really going to show up? Well, we'll find out in about 10 days. I want to go back to this fact that I know a lot of seniors that are retired on, obviously, the fixed income. That's all they have is Social Security. It's kind of tough right now. And their biggest complaint is, well, I can't. They see it as how would I put it? They feel like they should get enough to live on, and so that's the sad thing is Social Security. I've always known or felt like I don't think my Social Security's. I was never counting on Social Security to pay my lifestyle. It was a supplement, and that's all it was ever meant to be, really. Now, what happens is through your own bad decisions or through no fault of your own, you end up at retirement age and you don't have the big bucks. And it's frustrating that, well, you end up in the retirement age without without the investment. And so, like, I have this saying that, retirement really is, in my mind, at least for me, is making the best of the way these things have turned out. That retirement is now, what kind of life can I lead? A quality life, an exciting life, an enjoyable life, a valuable life, with what I have. And that's what I hope is going forward. I'm going to talk more about as well. Well, I'll just wrap it up to say I'm thankful that we still have the Social Security, that I'm actually going to be taking it. And let me say this: this thought occurred to me the other day. Social Security has always been that thing way off in the future when you would get when you're old. I'm feeling my age a little bit. I'm actually getting Social Security. I don't feel I feel older, but I don't feel old. Getting Social Security now has become kind of one of those benchmarks that, man, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Uh, it's I know I'm in the final years of life, um, which, by the way, I saw this deal. It says the average person has 4,000. We have 4,000 weeks of life. That's all we live is 4,000 weeks. So make the most of it. I did a little calculation, and that means I have maybe, what was it? I'm under 400 weeks left. So of those 4,000 weeks, I have 300 some weeks left on the average. That's all. 300 weeks left to live. That perspective changes things too. But you know what? I've got Social Security at least for 300 more weeks. And I'm going to party it up.